John Lusky of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another head donated by a viewer. And this viewer has a YouTube channel. He asked me to give a shout out to the YouTube channel that he has called Busted Limb Outdoors. Okay, check him out. And thanks for donating these heads. It's the NAP Shockwave. And they're really inexpensive. They're kind of the lower tier model that, one of the lower tier models that NAP offers. They have some higher end ones and they have some lower end ones. This is one of the lower end mechanicals that they have, but it's got some intriguing parts to it. I look forward to seeing how it performs, and I'm going to be using my test regimen for 2025. And for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process. It'll explain everything there, the scoring, the testing, and so forth. And for most of the shooting, I'm using my Elite Archery compound bows, and for the flight testing, I'm using my Killer Instinct crossbows. And for all the arrows and bolts, I'm using Bishop Archery stuff because it's really top tier. All right, let's zoom on in here and check out this Shockwave and put it to the test. Here's a good look at this 125 grain Shockwave. Let's start with the materials. First of all, you got an aluminum ferrule, and then you've got this steel Trivex point, which they're really proud of, this Trivex point. It's not super sharp, but hey, it's sharp enough, I'm sure. And then it's got stainless steel blades that are relatively thin. They're 0.030 inches thick. The cutting diameter is 1¼ inches. So 3 blades at 1¼ inches, having a total cut of 1.875. That's the same as like a Q80 Exodus or some other fixed blade head. So it's interesting having a mechanical with that small of a cut. That's just to give it better flight and better ability to penetrate on larger animals or be used with lighter setups. Now the blades are held closed with this O-ring. They come with a bunch of O-rings. You can order more, a pretty stout O-ring that keeps them really secure in place like that. And I don't think there's any problem with them opening even in a crossbow. And the way it works is upon penetration, these blades are forced back. And I do want to note, these are not sharpened on the front. That's just to allow them to have force to open, but they're pretty close to the tip. And on an extreme angled shot, I'd be a little worried about it cartwheeling because these blades are not going to penetrate in as effectively as some others that are really sharp, and that closeness is just something to keep in mind. I don't like to shoot at extreme angles on animals anyway with any broadhead for that reason. But anyway, as these blades penetrate, this O-ring slides back and the blades open up to their full cutting diameter. And as you can see, it's a small size cut and they're pretty swept back, again, to aid in penetration. But what's extra cool about this broadhead is that these blades are offset. In case you're not familiar with what offset means, it means that they're not like directly lined up with the center of the ferrule. Do you see how they're offset from the center of the ferrule? And what that does is it creates a wicked wound channel and creates a rotation, not unlike what a single bevel does, but usually an offset blade will rotate, offset head will rotate even more effectively than a single bevel because of that offset just causes it to turn like that. Another thing I like about this broadhead is the price. They come out to only $8.33 each. So it's a really good budget broadhead. Good broadhead, keep in mind, for small game or something like that. But if you're on a tight budget, you can use it for large game as well. For resharpening, I would use the new Stay Sharp Guide model they have called the Answer. And it's called the Answer because it fits a niche that they weren't able to fit before. There's certain like small thin heads like this that they didn't have a guide, a system to be able to sharpen, and now they do, and it works great with this. It's called the Answer. So look forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs.
The Shockwave got the 9 ring. It took 267 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.33 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated 7.25 inches. And the entrance hole is just the head in the closed position, as it is with pretty much any over-the-top deploying mechanical. But the blades did fully open by the time they hit the gel and remained open throughout the penetration. It took an additional 18 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.64 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 48 layers, which, to put it in perspective, that's really pretty poor for such a small cutting diameter, and given that a lot of those layers are just that long, narrow tip because the blades are so set back and then also swept back. It rotated 37 degrees at 12 inches. Here it is after the 3 shots through the MDF, and you can see the blades got bent way back. They just couldn't handle that pressure, which isn't really that great, but the cutting diameter shrunk significantly after those 3 shots. Here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate, and you can see that the tip is in really good shape, but 2 of the blades broke off and 1 bent even farther back. And you can see those holes there. It's just the head in the closed position again, but it just couldn't handle that kind of impact on those blades.
Here it is after all the durability testing. It lost a couple blades in the steel plate, but the ferrule held up pretty well, and the tip held up really well into the center block. It has a slight wobble to it, but otherwise did well. So what'd you think? You know, sometimes I test a head like this and I go, man, it did better than I thought it would. This one did about how I thought it would, okay? I mean, it did okay. You know, it got like an okay score, and for its price, maybe it's something worth considering, or maybe you're going to hunt some rabbits or something, you know, it might be a good option for that. But you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most. See if it might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score and the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can share with you just to help you save some money. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.